draft.
Hello and welcome back. We're here for game 3. Hoptech had to leave, so he has been replaced by our good friend Interpede back on the cast.
I'm
How are
back,
you guys
baby.
doing? Yo, okay. Yeah, I think the teams are a bit antsy to get started here after we had a little bit of a break, so we're going to get right back into it here, as I think the draft will be ready in a second here.
Sounds good.
Alright, we are getting right into the draft. We do have Platinum Players Poggies still on the blue side. Alan's other team still on the red side. We'll see if anyone decides to change up the bands here.
Looks like AOT may be happy to have found the key and just banning LeBlanc.
I'll have to see if they run that back.
Yeah, Interpede, you see anything spicy so far? Anything you might expect here for game 3?
I'm not sure. I think top lane has been a bit of a big question mark for me. I feel like coming into this, Chesto was like very highly regarded as a very strong top laner and everyone had to watch out for. But Dorky Nerd has just like been putting him in school, man. So I don't know. The Jace and the Jax picks earlier didn't really work out as expected, but we'll see how they adjust now.
Alright, I think we are now ready to get into the draft. Hold on just a second here. Yeah, so the same band's still coming out. Talon, Milio, Ivern, champions we've seen banned in every game in this order in the series. It will be the Wukong yet again, so getting that away from
again.
Night's Dawn. The Kindred, though, so...
Oh.
Do you guys remember what was banned here instead last game?
Oh, last game? I do not. I'll look back at it real quick.
I also don't remember.
The same bans, though, for Alan's other team. And I think...
With Nico?
Oh, no, it wasn't the Nico, though, because they were first pick. So they will pick up that Nico first pick for Jason the other. And it will be that Azir coming in for Alan's other team, I believe. So, yeah, both mid laners getting champions that they've been pretty comfortable with so far. You know, Nico and Azir both popping up in some of the top leagues. So not surprised to see some players who are pretty proficient with these champions bringing them out as well. Ezreal now picked up, looks like, for Jaxelli.
Yeah, Jackson had a pretty good game on Aphelios last game, but it looks like Ezreal Sona like got away and scaled pretty easily. So Ezreal looking to be a higher priority than Aphelios is pretty interesting to me. Oh, that's spicy.
Blind Fiora.
So the entire top side has just been picked straight away on the side of PPP.
Once again, they're happy to just blind their picks, same as last game. And I was going to wonder if, comparing game 1 and game 2, if PPP would go back to a more traditional front to back kind of style. It seems not.
Yeah, the Renekton coming out in response to the Fiora here. A matchup we do see, from time to time in leagues such as the LPL. The Renekton able to get the edge in those early trades, but Chesto a very competent Fiora player, and after a few lackluster performances in the first couple of games, we'll be looking to pop off on one of his best champions.
This matchup will be really interesting to watch for me. Renekton has been memed on time and time again, but more importantly, recently on the 13.12 patch, this champion has been rising in priority, especially as a blind pick on the top side. And
Yeah.
Jinx has been banned. on the side of AOT. Really interesting.
Quite interesting to see the last 3 bans for both teams really pointed toward what they feel was probably the biggest problem in their last two games.
Yeah, it's also interesting to see, mid and top are roles that we often see as like counter pick lanes, where often you're saving these picks to the end of the draft. But Platinum players probably is opting to just immediately pick up all these champions, as it will be the Kog'Maw Lulu coming out.
The Karma is immediately punished in draft with the Cog Lulu. Now there's 0 access to backline except for the Azir wall flank or Renekton TP flank.
Hecarim does kind of solve that.
Ooh.
I will say Lulu Kog'Maw, maybe not the menace it once was. Still pretty good, but recently Kog'Maw been performing a little better with some of these other champions. We'll see. Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah, Hecarim, I think, a pretty solid pick here. I think a lot of pressure this game is going to come on to Chesto on this Fiora here, though.
Dang, I really think this draft goes to PPP. Picking Karma on 4 with Lulu open especially is really punishing for Karma, because Karma has a lot of lane prio, probably one of the strongest in lane supports and enchanters, but later on in the game, as we see, like champions like Lulu, Soraka, Seraphine, as they were banned, and then picking the Lulu. These champions just, in my opinion, outscale Karma. They provide so much more usefulness than just straight up shields and slows. Lulu with Polymorph and Overgrowth to knock up surrounding enemies just does way more for the team than a Karma does late game.
For sure. I will say that I remember Karma in the past being picked into Lulu as a kind of disengaged kite kind of option. Lulu Kog'Maw's all-in is, miles ahead of anyone. But if you can keep them at bay and try to poke, you might be able to do something more. But it is definitely lane focused.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm pretty excited as well for this mid lane matchup. We have Nico going up against Azir. I think Derive, proving in the last game that his Azir is one of the best, and he's performing very well on the champion. We'll see how he does in this game too. But Nico, one of the most powerful mid laners in the game right now. So we'll see how Jason's able to do into this.
Yeah, I'm especially interested to see how this Hecarim does. Traditionally, Hecarim is a power farming jungler, wants to hit whether it's Triforce or Eclipse or whatever his first item, building out Bruiser or building out Assassin with Manamune. This champion has a lot of backline access, but there's also a lot of peel and a lot of just bulk on the side of PPP. Nature's Grass from Maokai, and then the Nico Pop Blossom. So much strong peel that just shuts down any engage from the side of AOT is really crazy. And no engage from the support is another hard factor that makes execution a little bit more difficult for AOT.
For sure. There is a lot of AP on the side of PPP from Kog'Maw, Maokai, and Nico. So I am quite interested, as you said, to see how this Fiora is going to do. Especially in a rough lane early on like this.
Yeah, but if there's anyone whose Fiora can do it, it is Chesto. We have, seen him getting the worst end of some of these fights in the early game in these past few games, but I think with Game 3 coming in and, him being one of the best top laners in the tournament, I'm expecting him to do pretty well here and maybe turn around some of these fights on the Renekton once he's able to get an item or two, and he's going to be pretty hard to match once he gets towards that late game.
Yeah, especially pointing out the side of PPP has 3 AP champs. This gives Fiora a lot of room to dominate in the side lane because Renekton will not be able to itemize as much armor if he wants to team fight.
Mm-hmm. And I think in both of the last 2 games, Chesto's been put behind by jungle gangs, right? So maybe it's time to see the Maokai in this game playing the same champion all 3 games to put a little bit more time and priority into at least getting some vision and maybe getting some counter ganks off on top.
Yeah, I think, Fiora and versus Renekton, a very volatile matchup up here, and one that I think both junglers will definitely want to influence early, because if Fiora can get ahead, then Renekton might never be able to catch back up. And Renekton, a very strong champion in these 2v2s early on, and with the Hecarim, might be able to just run over and start to take over the game. So I think both junglers are going to want to make their appearance up top here.
Yeah, I'm interested. Potential. Now after seeing Milio's performance on 13-12, what do you think of that champion? Do you think it's still worthwhile to first round ban it on the blue side?
Been doing it all 3 games. I think based on its performance in this tournament, it seems at the least in the tournament meta worthwhile. It's also, especially considering both of these support players are full enchanter players, it cuts into their champion pools more than in general. I think he's still one of the strongest enchanters, even after nerfs.
Interesting. Yeah, it's been really cool watching this tournament meta develop. There's the red side obligatory Ivern ban every game now, and Varus earlier too. So it's been really cool seeing these power picks just pop up here and there and just slowly dominate the tournament and be forced to ban out or picked.
And with Shiv, we've got the LeBlanc in there too.
Yeah, and
a lot of crazy builds.
Yeah, I mean, I think as we're getting into these top teams with these players having pretty big champion pools and being able to bring out a lot of these power picks, we've seen kind of the LeBlanc now being forced to ban every single game. I think all the mid laners left in this tournament are very, very talented LeBlanc players, and yeah, it seems like I don't know. I'm surprised that Alan's other team has been opting for red side in this series, because I don't know, I personally, from what I've seen in the tournament, think blue side has been a lot stronger right now. Being able to there are just so many required bans from red side, like having to I mean, with the Ivern, the LeBlanc being forced to ban out, that leaves room for some of these players, one tricks to stay available throughout the series.
Yeah, for sure. We saw in the previous series with the PSR that GP and Graves constantly got through, but because the LeBlanc and Ivern and bans were forced.
Yeah, and I think we've seen Nightstone sort of getting comfortable on this Maokai, 3 games in a row on it now. He has been able to find some very good engages, but at the same time, he has found himself a bit far forward. So we'll see if he's able to learn from some of his past mistakes and be much more solid in this game and not overextend like he might have done a couple of times in the last couple games.
Yeah, it's really a balance of comfort versus priority. Maokai is just such a strong overall champion for any team comp, and being able to play it is such a bonus. So being comfortable in the champ versus the champ having such high priority is really what defines this tournament, I think.
For sure. So yeah, I guess you guys, both a bot lane duo, unfortunately not able to make it this far in the tournament, but I am curious to hear what you think about this bot lane matchup. We have the Lulu Kog'Maw into the Ezreal Karma. Who do you think's got the edge in this one?
Ooh. I'll let you talk in the sports first.
Yeah, I think Kog Lulu will win this matchup. I think in principle, I feel that Ezreal Karma should win the lane, and pretty handily at that, but you have to play the lane very aggressively to make that happen. You need to really play your range very well. And I think if it's played to its potential, I think that Ezreal Karma wins. But Cog Lulu is just so much easier.
Yeah, I agree. Cogs Lulu is really reliable, scales really well. Ezreal is a very high skill cap champion. You need to like really know your champ to push your advantages in lane, because in lane, Ezreal Q is one of the strongest abilities to have to deal with, alongside like abilities like Verisi, Caitlyn Q, Ash W. So Ezreal has a lot of potential in lane. Karma has, I believe, a slightly winning matchup in lane, just like she does against most supports. So in lane, I think Ezreal Karma has the ability to win if they're the better lane, but I think it's more reliable for Coglulu to just scale out and carry.
Mm-hmm. Plus, the Cog Lulu is more central to the left side composition, blue side composition than the right hand side. Ezreal Karma is kind of just, I'm actually not sure what they are doing in this comp other than just being like a good duo and having range, like being able to fight. Whereas Cog Lulu, they've got Maokai, Nico, Peel. They're like, you know, if they disjoint the initial Renekton Hecarim dive, then it's just immediately won. I guess except for the Azir. There's definitely a wild card in a big Azir shuffle.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we're about ready to go into the game here. Let me just make sure everything is set up properly here.
Let's go, boys. Game 3. Tournament lives on the line. Let's get some hype in chat.
It's okay.
Exciting series.
AOT and PPP.
Oh, right off the bat, we're seeing blue side pings.
Sorry, yeah, just hold on just a second. I need to get the gameplay set up on stream. All right, should be good now. All right, and yep, we are into the game here.
There we go, baby.
All right, yeah, welcome to game 3. We have Platinum players Poggies, Alan's other team, 1 game apiece, looking for that series win and the ticket straight to finals. So we'll have to see who comes out on top on this one. Looking, at the runes, you guys see anything interesting coming out here? Any at the summoners?
I'm not sure I know too much about the top lane matchup, but Fiora going Conqueror here is a choice of all choices, I guess. Typically we do see Fiora run like Grasp as well. I don't know too much about the champ, but taking Conqueror is definitely an interesting pick.
And Ignite.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
Oh, the Mantra Q.
First Karma Q miss. GG.
Yeah.
If that's me playing Ezreal, I'm spam pinging my Karma. It's so cute.
Yep. Do you see ILY SMH opting to not go for a potion yet again on this Hecarim? A bit greedy, but hasn't been punished yet in the series.
Yeah, it's fairly common, I've seen, for junglers like Kayn and Hecarim that have strong early clears to just avoid it. Fiddlesticks too. Save the 50 gold, I guess. Investing in their futures.
Both junglers starting in the top side this game. We'll see if anyone wants to come up here early or if they'll just path towards the bot side. Chesto trading very well, but meanwhile, Caridian's going pretty low in this bot lane.
Ooh, Dorky Nerd was just one auto off of getting the power Q. I feel like that would have been much more important, but it seems like he's already starting to take control of the lane anyways, having control over the wave.
Yeah, just by getting, I think, 2 Qs in that trade, it looks like he won out for sure.
Oh, Chesto really struggling now, getting very low, able to proc the Vital, but Dorky Nerd just completely poking out this Fiora. Fiora already forced to back off, and Fiora did take the Ignite, so Chesto really struggling yet again into Dorky Nerd here.
Yeah, this is really rough to see. Bot side Ezreal Karma is getting the shove in as normal. I'd be interested to see what the Hecarim does with this kind of prio on the map. You have two side lanes already pushing in.
Yeah, it looks like he's just opting for a full clear here, so not too much early. Both junglers just kind of handshaking that full clear. You know, while he does have that side lane prio, Jason the other doing a nice job in this mid lane, and you know, will maybe make it a bit hard for Iowa SMH to find his way too deep into the enemy jungle. So yeah, just like looking to clear out their own jungles here.
It does look like Chesto maybe missed a bit less than he might have by taking the base relatively early. I think he got back before too much of the wave fell to tower. But it is just a free cheater for Renekton. It's coming back with a longsword advantage.
Yeah, in this game 3 scenario, you've really got to wonder.
Oh, the first dragon now jumping onto Curry and able to land the root. Curry going very low. Iowa SMH has arrived and the damage is there. First blood going over to Jaxeli in this lane.
Yeah, we were talking about that priority coming in, and Hecarim is easily able to look in through for that bot gang. Snaps him up and takes first blood for Jaxeli, which is huge. One of the best possible results there.
Yeah, Chesto continuing to trade onto Dorkinerd here. Does have that ignite advantage. The stun comes out from Dorkinerd, who lands a lot of damage. The parry comes out. The ignite, not quite enough to finish off the kill. And Dorkinerd with the kill and a very nice wave state with that TP available here. Doing very well for himself.
I can never call this man a nerd anymore.
Winning that despite the huge wave, that's
and the ignite is just a disaster.
Yeah, and the wave gets frozen, so Fiora can't touch a wave without getting ganked for like the next 2 minutes. Such a dire situation for Chesto 4 minutes into the game on the blind pick of all picks.
And this time, it's not...
Korean once again, the snare, or the root landing, but the damage is not quite there as... you see, you know, Korean and Cordians in the 2v2 at least doing pretty well to trade back onto this Ezreal Karma. Dorkinerd once again jumping onto Chesto. The stun lands, not successfully parried, and Chesto might once again be forced to back off. Lands the Vital again, but yeah, with the more sustain and more damage, this Renekton is just absolutely dominating in this 1v1 despite taking the teleport. Nightstone has arrived now, though. We'll see if they're able to go for anything. Chesto able to land the parry. The flash in from Nightstone is enough. And that's a huge play from Nightstone with the TP down from Dorkinerd.
Nightstone getting the clutch flash on the last second to bail out his top laner. I would be mad if my Maokai didn't flash for me, but we do save the lane a little bit on top side. We do crash the wave in now, so the freeze is broken. And Renekton goes down a little bit more.
Definitely a bit salvaged. Fiora still behind.
The first dragon landing another Q on the Cridians, who's going very low under this turret. Iowa SMH coming in now. They're continuing to trade. The W is cancelled, and Nightstone is coming in, but Curry a bit far forward here. Iowa SMH continuing to go forward. Does see the Maokai able to back off, but the first dragon might be a bit far forward. The heal forced out from Jaxeli.
Good heal. Yeah, Nightstone is just everywhere on the map, saving all his laners, bro. Running around with the life jacket. What a hero.
Nice cover.
Oh, I believe this is going to be Static Shiv Ezreal, too.
Is this something you guys have seen before? Is this a thing?
Yeah, so I've actually seen this build from Showmaker playing an AP Ezreal mid. And Static Shiv is just such an OP item, you know, you can run it anywhere. Typically, Ezreal bot still goes AD, but I mean, like, Static Shiv is just so strong, so... It's an AP build with Static Shiv Lichbane, and then it goes into poke with, like, Ludens.
Oh, as the ult coming out from Jason gets the jump on to Derive, who will barely survive, and he will get out, but that will be a favorable trade at least. Chesto and Dorkinerd continuing to trade up here. Dorkinerd does have the ult available, but a nice parry coming out from Chesto, able to turn that around. And meanwhile, though, ILY SMH able to pick up the dragon.
Winning that little trade despite being leveled down.
Yeah, it seems like Chesto's finally regaining some confidence, regaining some senses after
It
being bailed out.
is full
He's
build,
not
so
Full build number 1 checkpoint.
yep.
Yeah, Nightstone is like staring over him like, I gave you all this, you better not lose it. Like my dad.
Oh. Yeah, Jack Sully, you know, you're saying the Static Shiv AP build, definitely able to opt for that when you have such strong AD champions like the Renekton and the Hecarim in the top side. So we'll see how that does. That will give him a pretty big advantage on the Kog'Maw, who does lack that wave clear.
Yeah, it's a nice way to not have to interact with the Kog'Maw in range of him. So I think it definitely makes sense in this matchup.
Yeah, the poke from Ezreal Karma is just so strong early game. It's really just playing dodgeball as Kog'Maw.
Oh, a nice True Shot Barrage comes out, landing a lot of damage onto Korean. Able to land the Mystic Shot, but the shields from Korean's able to save Korean for the time being. Chesto, despite his struggle in the early fight, he's doing pretty well up here now, and it's kind of turned it around. Jack Selly might be a bit far forward here. IOI SMH has arrived, able to quickly get out, did have to pop the Ghost. Overall,
Shadows goes wide there.
Okay, but they will have to back off. Nightstone, meanwhile, taking that Herald
and with this Hecarim being bot side, this top lane has completely shifted in the opposite direction. It's now frozen on Fiora's side, and Chesto is just starting to accrue a pretty significant CS advantage.
But that
just looks lost.
And that is, though, 4 plates going over to Jack Sully and the first dragon. Jack Sully with a 1,400 gold lead on this Kog'Maw. And IOI SMH still chilling here. It looks like they will be going for this first turret. And Derive hovering towards the bot side. I don't know if there will be much of a response.
That turret is gone.
That is a fast pre-10-minute tower.
Yeah, Jason, once again, looking to jump on the Derive. Not too much damage there. Going for the root. Does not quite land, but yeah, Nico just such a strong champion in these early trades, even when you are missing some of these abilities. Chesto now trying to trade on the Dirty Nerd again, who gets the W off and able to back off before, you know, the Fiora can get that extended trade that she was hoping for there.
Alright, Freeze is broken at least in top lane, but not before 30 CS advantage.
Yeah, we see just about a 2k gold lead, probably way higher if we take out the top side, but...
Oh, as Chesto pops the ult, so does Dorky Nerd, landing the W. Chesto now going very low. The Ignite comes out. The parry, I believe, still available. Flashes in, able to finish off Dorky Nerd. IOI SMH is here, but I think the parry... No, not up, as he will go down, but Nightstone has arrived. The TP coming in from Jason, following up with the ult, able to land the damage, and Nightstone lands another kill. Jack Sully in the first dragon shifting up to this top lane, but now no one's there to answer mid.
Not there in time to really reinforce the play. They wanted to make use of their early tower to make something happen, or just push another lane. But the timing of the counterplay was not quite right for them.
Yeah, Nightstone once again here covering. This guy really is everywhere on the map.
And the Ezreal static. We just saw static on the wave. It begins. Cannon though.